Yo, 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 what's going on? Let's talk about it. Look, there's been a lot of talk. Few celebrities owe their ex-wives, baby mothers, X amount of dollars per month, some ridiculous, crazy number. And I'm seeing up and down my timeline, how much does it actually cost to raise a kid? Right? I'm going to give you the full scoop as a certified professional parent. I just got my certificate last week. So what you don't know for the not non-parents out there is that the hospital that births your child after 6 years, if the child is still alive and they're not dead, you get a certificate in the mail. You become a professional parent. So my daughter turned 6 this year. I just got my certificate in the mail. So I am now an authority to talk about parenting, right? So let's get into it. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to itemize it. Before I do that, like, comment, subscribe, share this because I'm dropping knowledge over here. All right. The biggest expense, if you ask any parent, the biggest expense is childcare, the unavoidable. And even when your kid goes to public school, you still got to pay for childcare because school lets out at like 3 o'clock and nobody with a full-time job is off at 3 o'clock. So you got to pay for some type of aftercare, right? So it's unavoidable even when they go to school. Shout out to COVID though, because I haven't been paying any childcare for like since March, right? That's what's up. Now, when I did my taxes this year, I figured out that I paid $5,300 something dollars for my daughter's child care last year, and she was in school all year round. The summer care, I had to pay for her kindergarten, all that, right? Now, I asked other parents, and some parents pay more than what I paid, okay? And then some parents paid less because they had some kind of insurance or whatever that took care of it. So I'm going to bump that up, and I got a little calculator right here. So if I pay 50, I'm going to bump that up to 6,000. So 6,000 a year is what you're going to spend on childcare. The second expense is you got to feed them. You have to actually like feed them because that's how they grow and that's how they get older, right? I spend about $300 a month on food. Okay, I'm gonna be generous and say that she eats about half of it, which she probably doesn't. I think if I didn't have a kid, I'd probably still spend about 200, but we're gonna bump that up to about $150 a month, right? So 150 times 12, that's 1,800. We're gonna tack that on, and that's how much it's gonna cost to feed the kids. Now, thirdly, you got to put clothes on them, right? You can't walk around naked with something. For this, I deferred to baby mom because I don't take care of none of that, right? She goes shopping, she buys all the clothes, and she says, and she texts me and say, "Oh, I just spent $150. Reimburse me or give me half or whatever." I Venmo her the cash. I don't deal with it. Every year, you gotta buy them new shit, right? I got a really nice winter pea coat that I wear with my suit and my tie when I'm at work. I bought the motherfucker 4 years ago. I'm gonna wear that thing until it falls apart, right? So when you're an adult, you don't have to buy new hats and gloves and scarves and shit all every year. But with kids, you do. Last summer, she jumped 2 shoe sizes in one summer. So I deferred to baby mom and I said, "How much do you spend per year?" She says, "I spend about $200 per season, right? There's 4 seasons, and then you add in the variables." She said about $1,000 a year. Okay, all right. Now this next one, I was I was a little torn if I should add it or not, right? Because I feel like you got to have a roof over your head either way, right? But then again, technically, if I didn't have a kid, I could live in a one-bedroom apartment or a condo or something like that. I mean, if you live in a house, you're not really going to find a house with one bedroom in it, right? But if you had a kid already and you're having a second child and you only live in a two-bedroom house, eventually you're going to need another bedroom. Especially if you had a boy then you had a girl, right? So let's just assume that you need an extra room for the kid. Okay, so here's what I did. I took the average cost for a one bedroom apartment in my neighborhood, and then the cost for a two bedroom apartment, and let's split the difference. Now, I think using my neighborhood is actually perfect because I don't live in like a low income neighborhood, but I also don't live in a really affluent, rich neighborhood. I'm right there smack in the middle. And I would even argue that at least my neighborhood is somewhat lower middle class. So the average 1-bedroom apartment around here is about $1,000 a month. The average 2-bedroom apartment is like $1,250. Let's call it $1,300. So let's say it's going to take another $300 to put these little tyrants in a room. Okay. So $300 a month times 12, that's $3,600 a year. Let's tack that on. Okay. Now, this last cost, we're going to throw in like the intangibles, okay? We're talking about gifts, toys, furniture, shit like that. You know, they go from a crib to the little race car bed. Then you got to get them a real bed, you know. So, and then you got birthdays, holidays. So, also, so here's the deal for people who don't have kids. Here's what y'all don't realize. So you know how when you're first dating somebody, right? When you first get into that honeymoon stage, y'all go out to dates and y'all spend money, y'all go to restaurants and stuff like that. But then as the relationship grows, you start doing more stuff in house. You don't spend as much money going out, right? In fact, married couples have date nights, right? They have specific nights that they go out. But in that honeymoon stage, when you're dating, you actually do spend a lot of money. So what people who don't have kids don't realize is that when you're going out with your kid, that doesn't end. You like it's costing you money every time you take them out, unless you take them to the playground or something. So let's call it about another $1,000 a year, right? From baby to growing up, taking them out, spending money on them. Okay? So where we at right now? Boom. Let's divide that by 12. Okay? So it costs, realistically, about $1,100 a month to raise a child. I just broke it down for you as a professional parent, as the authority of parenting. I just broke it down for you. Now, I did this for 2 reasons. For one, I did this for some of y'all out there who don't have kids yet, okay? Because if you don't have a kid and you're thinking about having a kid, boom, okay? Okay, a month. This ain't no fucking game. If you have multiple kids, that grows exponentially. Now, what does that mean? That means you don't just take this number and times it by 2 if you have another kid. You fucking square it, okay? So if you want to have 2 kids, that's how much it costs to raise them per month. $1.2 million a month. You ready for that? You ready for that? I didn't think so. Secondly, the discussion was if it costs a certain amount of money to raise a child per month, what should a dad pay for child support? Fellas, some of y'all are going to thank me for this, and some of y'all are going to say, fuck you. But just this all you need to pay. That's all you need to pay. Okay? If you're paying less than this, step up. If you're paying more than this, you're being screwed. Anyway, you let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you on the other side.